All right, really quick guys, before I get into the video, I just want to let you know about the Barbell Apparel joggers that you see me wearing in a lot of my other videos. They're going for $99 right now, which I know isn't cheap, but they really are the highest quality pair of joggers you'll find. They're good to train in, and they're good for just casual wear too. All right, let's get into the video. When I program in Concurrent and in my ebooks, I do include RPE because I know many people are familiar with it, but I want to make this video to elaborate on some of my issues with it and how you can change the way you use the scale. And I apologize, some of this video I might jump around a bit, so just bear with me. So part of me really hates the way RPE is portrayed. I think many people make it out to be some sort of innovative way of quantifying training loads, and it's this precise way of ascribing internal load while simultaneously portraying it as something simple and something that doesn't take much depth to think about, and more simple than just using a recent estimated 1RM and following a percentage guide based off that estimated 1RM to determine load selection. RPE, rating of perceived exertion. This is just a fancy term for thinking about how challenging a set was and deciding whether you should use the same weight next time, or if you can add weight, or if you should reduce weight. That's it. So when I hear someone say, oh, do you use RPE, or have you heard about RPE? I'm just like, what do you mean? Do I think about how hard a set was and decide if it's heavy enough? So I don't like that people say you're using RPE. Everyone intuitively does this, whether they claim they're using RPE or not. The first time someone starts lifting weights, they do a set and think about the effort it took for them to complete that set. It isn't that deep. Unrelated, but sort of related side note here. And I really don't think most lifters are aware of this. The original RPE scale is represented by what's called the Borg scale, and it's a scale of 6 through 20. It was intended to be used for an aerobic evaluation, and the RPE that an individual assigns to their current effort level during the evaluation is supposed to correspond to their heart rate. And it's actually fairly accurate and reliable. But now lifting culture has adopted the term RPE and has made a scale of 1 through 10, but it's really a scale of 6 through 10 because you'll often hear coaches claim that an RPE below a 6 is too light to even be counted as a working weight. So if that's the case, the scale shouldn't be 1 through 10, it's a 5-point scale, so it should be a 1 through 5 scale. But then coaches will also assign an RPE in decimals, like a 7.5 out of 10, making the 6 through 10 scale a 10-point scale again. So if it's a 10-point scale, an RPE of 7.5 out of 10 would really be a 5 out of 10. It's just another way of overcomplicating it, and I think people intentionally do this to make it seem more innovative than it really is. All right, so moving on to RPE being used as a substitute for reps in reserve, because oftentimes people will just use RPE interchangeably with reps in reserve, and if that's the case, why not just use RIR and continue to call it RIR like it's been called for years? Using RPE as RIR, if you assign a set of 5 reps as an RPE 8, this means you could have performed 2 more reps, so an RIR of 2. So that means you did 5 reps at basically a weight of a 7 rep max. If you're using RPE as RIR, you have no reference point unless you are hitting true AMRAP sets on a consistent basis. And in reality, you can't perform 5 reps of a 7 rep max weight more than 2 consecutive sets. And I know a lot of programs will prescribe multiple sets, like 3 to 4 sets of RPE 8s. So if you're doing 3 to 4 sets at an RPE 8, you're probably undershooting or auto-regulating like to an RPE 6 without realizing it. But here's the question you should ask yourself regarding that set of 5 at an RPE 8. How do you know how much weight you could have added to the bar and still completed 5 reps at about the same effort level? So how much weight could you add and still perform 5 reps and still call it an RPE 8? This, in my opinion, is a much more effective implementation of RPE. Reps in reserve should be and is different than RPE. So keep RIR as RIR, use RPE as a way to determine how much more weight you could have lifted for the same number of reps at about the same effort level. So if you're using RPE, you shouldn't predict or prescribe your RPE prior to performing a set if you have a prescribed number of reps to that set. So don't program a set of 5 at an RPE 7. Most people, including myself, can't do this with very much precision. Just program a set of 5 and assign your RPE after you complete the set. You could tell yourself you want the set to be at an RPE 7 and then confirm after the set that it was a 7. So the more effective way I think about RPE is, if I could add 5 to 7.5 pounds to the bar for a given set and perform that set with about the same effort level, that's an RPE 9. If I could add 7.5 to, let's say, 12.5 pounds to the bar for a given set and perform that set with about the same effort level, that's an RPE 8. Could have added 15 pounds, RPE 7. You see how that scale works. Obviously, you come up with your own scale that works for you, and different exercises can have slightly different scales, but this just makes a lot more sense to me. It keeps reps in reserve, and it provides you the feedback regarding what an appropriate adjustment for weight can be for subsequent sets and sessions. If you're using RIR, you shouldn't prescribe a number of reps to that set because you're performing reps until you feel like you can only do 1 or 2 more reps, or whatever the RIR is that you prescribed. This is where percentages work well. Program a percentage and an RIR, don't prescribe a fixed number of reps. 80% for a 2 RIR. Maybe you'll hit 6 reps, 7 reps, or even 8 reps. Program a percentage for a fixed number of reps and assign an RPE and adjust accordingly for the following set. Let me know what you think about this and ask questions that you might have in the comments. I'll answer some questions in the next training session video. Thanks for watching, guys. That's all I got. I appreciate it.